Hey, I'm Mike. It's been a long time since I've done a video like this, and I figured I would take the opportunity now, since I have everything set up and I just shot a video, to talk to you guys and give you some tips to help you into 2019. So with this video, I really want to cover more about how to get local customers, and that's been something I've talked about and sort of really honed in on our business with IM Consultant Services, is getting local customers. And so what we did is we started focusing more and more, gearing more towards getting local customers and how you drive that local traffic. And we've really developed a really powerful system called the Pervasive Presence Engine, where it actually helps you, thanks Laura, thanks you for getting everything to really help drive that traffic, okay? And so what the whole idea is, for the Pervasive Presence Engine, I use the analogy of a sports car. I like the idea of a sports car, given my engineering background. But it's probably a really good analogy because really the whole idea is that when you're in a park, you need to understand where you're going. And that's where you have to have your target audience and understand who your target audience is. Most local businesses have a pretty good idea, but it doesn't hurt to actually go through and do the exercise again. Really understand who the target audience is. Then you go to first gear. Okay. Now the thing is, if you were in a park and jammed it into fifth gear, okay, in a high-end sports car, you're lucky if you don't damage the engine. So you need to take the time and make sure you're shifting into first gear first and set that foundation in place. And for that is really setting up your website. Okay, making sure your website is properly set up, optimized for best visitor experience you can imagine, especially on mobile devices. It's getting now probably mobile traffic is at least 70%, if not more, for most websites. And so you need to really make sure that mobile experience is as good as possible. And make sure everything optimized, your space optimized, so that when people are going through the website, they know exactly who you are, what makes you unique, what's your unique proposition, and what to do next, within 3 seconds. If they can't figure that out in 3 seconds, forget it. I know it seems like quite a bit, but it takes a little bit of crafting, and you can really get down to it if you really hone in that messaging. Now that you have the website built, now you need to worry about search engine optimization, or SEO. Okay, so SEO is where you are both optimizing your website and doing stuff off your website to send signals to Google, say, hey, I want to rank this website. So on-page SEO is not just doing your meta descriptions, okay, or doing some keywords. It's more than that. You really need to go through and optimize your website, make sure it's optimized for speed, making sure you have the proper plugins in place so Google, when it crawls, it knows what you're about, doing the right things to the images, so that way Google knows, hey, choosing the right images, doing the right things to the images. So when Google crawls the website, they have a pretty good indication of what you do. And really honing in on your overall development of the site and doing the best optimization on the actual page itself, so that way not only does the visitor have a great experience, but Google has a very clear message, okay, this is where people are flowing to on your website, and so that way Google has a really good idea what your website's about, okay? On top of that, you do off-page SEO, which is really building the links and driving traffic to your site. And the links, or you can think of them more like a vote. Each link from a site, like say for instance you have a Facebook profile page, business page. That link to your website counts as one vote, okay? Maybe you have a Twitter, maybe you have a link in the bio there. That's another link, so that's another vote in the eyes of Google to your website. Now, you need to add more votes. And that's where you have different websites, blogs, social media bookmarks, all those kind of things, press releases, all those things that help build up over time to show Google, hey, this is what you're all about. Okay, so that way Google knows, hey, this is something that you should really take a look at, and that you should ranking up for the keywords, especially when you start using things like anchor text. I'm not going to get too technical in this video, but anchor text being, say for instance you have keywords that you want to be known for. Maybe it is, say, Pilates studio, okay? So you take the words Pilates studio you want to be known for on another website, and then you hyperlink the text, the words Pilates studio, and you have a link going to your website, okay? That's one vote saying, hey, to Google, this is about Pilates studio, because I have a link on those words, Pilates studio, linked to the target website, okay? And that's how you set up those votes. And you have a range of these, that's just one type of a link that you have. You have a range of these similar things to help rise things up higher and higher and higher in the eyes of Google, okay? And that's a long-term strategy. Usually it takes at least 6 months, if not a year or more, to do it properly. You don't want to do it too fast, otherwise you can get Google starts suspecting something's not organic, natural, what's going on with your website. So you need to do things slow. It usually takes 6, 12 months, maybe more for more competitive keywords. So you have SEO, you have your website. The third part of first gear is Google My Business. Google My Business is key because really it's like, especially if you're doing local marketing, but even if you're doing more national or international, because it really represents your website, your business, I mean. Treat Google My Business like you would like a mini website, okay? And so you got to look at the posts, the pictures, the overall look and branding like you would a mini website. Now, you can also SEO the Google My Business by doing ongoing things to your Google My Business listing that'll actually help rank it higher in the actual listings on Google Maps, Google My Business listings. So if someone searches for something like, I use the example again, Pilates Studio, someone searches for that in Google, you just show up in the actual 3-pack, which is at 3 recommended Google Studio locations in the area, okay? And that's how that works, okay? So now you have Google My Business and your website ranked for SEO. Google My Business, if you do it properly, you start seeing results within the first couple months and start increasing that traffic, okay? If, again, you're doing the ongoing maintenance you need to do to that site. So that's first gear. Whew, that's a lot, right? Well, once you have that foundation in place and moving, now you can start working the second gear, which is going to be Google AdWords, or Google Ads now. Google Ads is really, really powerful because what it can do is drive the right traffic to your site. So someone's searching for, again, Pilates Studio, and now you can have a little ad up top saying, hey, check out my site, here you go, right? You can also display ads promoting that particular business. But that's only one part of it. If you stop right there, that's great, but you're missing out because you don't have probably, I would say, the most important part of Google Ads, which is retargeting. Some goes to your website, you're not ready to buy right away. In fact, it's been shown it typically takes, if someone's in the buyer's frame of mind, now again, this is not an emergency, so I'm not saying the furnace is out in the middle of cold winter and there's a big panic to get your furnace fixed. In that case, you're probably gonna call the first or second person you actually reach and get an appointment with. But traditionally, when people are in the market to buy and they're ready to buy, it takes 7 to 10 exposures on average, before someone pulls that trigger. And so that's why you have to have retargeting. Say you're shopping for a TV. You go to a website, next thing you know, you're followed by ads for the next week. Well, that's retargeting, and they know their buy cycle is maybe between 3 to 7 days. And after that, the ads are gonna disappear, okay? Once you understand what your buying cycle is for a particular thing, then you are really going to really start focus and start honing in on that messaging over that time. So if a buyer cycle is say a month, and then what's going to happen over that month is you want to make sure you have ads to that person who landed on your website over that period of that month. Now, when you start stretching to longer times, like maybe over a month, you may want to start cycling different ads in, looking at overall strategy. So you have an indoctrination series over a period of maybe 6 to 8 months. Again, it all depends on that buyer cycle, okay? Once you have first and second gear in place, and that solid foundation going, now you're ready to actually do social media marketing. Social media marketing should not be done too soon. Most people jump into social media marketing right away, but if you don't have that foundation in place, you're gonna be spending a lot of extra time, money, and effort that you don't have to, okay? Because you're wasting, because you don't have that AdWords retargeting in place, you don't have your website optimized, you're not building up that SEO and so on, you don't have that visitor experience. So if you don't have that foundation in place, you start throwing money and effort at any kind of social media marketing to drive traffic to your website, you can imagine you're gonna have things bounce off, especially since a lot of times on social media marketing, people aren't actively searching for that service you have to offer. It's more of a longer development cycle. So if you can imagine on that longer development cycle, if your initial exposure at that beginning there is a negative one, well then chances are you might lose them completely, okay? That's why it's important to have that foundation in place. Plus you're already being profitable because you already have that things moving already in place. So that actual longer term cycle of social media marketing, it actually gives you better results because it may be it's a cycle of 6 to 9 months before you start returning your investment, but you already start making money on the first and second gear already, okay? So that's right, and then you also have the retargeting on social media marketing as well, okay? And then you have a complete omnipresence and really start having the actual pervasive presence engine in place because now you're relevant because people went to your website and now you're retargeting them on the presence to that relevant people. And if you add more intimate things like picture yourself, like videos like this, that's how you really start having that overall pervasive presence engine in place for local marketing, because you have that local feel, you have that you're always there to the people who are looking for that business, and you're omnipresent and relevant. Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time. And if you have any questions, I'll also be answering questions after the video goes live. Thank you.